And that's a big, the whole word character development, that's a big umbrella of a bazillion different things. But
Totally.
I've got a few specific things that I wanted to point out in this
Yeah.
podcast about for young men specifically. But if any women are listening to this, young girls, you can look at this stuff and think, that's the kind of guy that I would like to
Boom.
date or marry.
Exactly.
So if you're a girl, don't just tune this out because this is important too. First let me start with character overall in the countercultural sense as well is to embrace adversity. That's what you should be doing when it comes to character building, character development. It should be to take the road less traveled. Embrace adversity. Again, it's a rejection of this feel-good culture of do whatever feels good to you. Nothing matters. Only what feels good to your self-centered pleasures, your lustful desires. That's all that matters. That's what grants you true happiness. See, that is the message that our mainstream culture is teaching us, and that is wrong. It feels good. Don't get me wrong. It feels good. It makes you think, oh, wow, this actually is probably the key to happiness and fulfillment. I just need to do whatever feels good to me. It doesn't matter about other people. I need to be self-centered. I need to be more greedy. I don't need to worry about personal responsibility. That's hard. Discipline, nah, that's nasty. That's disgusting. I don't want to do that. I want to do whatever's easy and feels good. That seems at the bare root of it, if you just think about it, that sounds like, oh, okay, that is the path to happiness. If you just think about it from a very basic level. But if you try that path, it only leads to, I'm not going to say death, but it basically it kills you in a metaphorical way.
Totally.
It destroys you. You can't if you do whatever feels good to you, you're going to end up in a very bad place. If you continuously do that. That is a lie that our culture is trying to sell teens and young adults on. It's a lie. The true key to happiness and fulfillment and joy in your life is many things, but overall it comes down to you embracing adversity. Taking on greater personal responsibility, discipline, and these few things that I'm going to mention here. One of the things that I want to point out with it when it comes to character development for young men specifically is courage.
Yeah.
We are a generation that cannot stand up for anything, frankly. We are having there's a serious problem, especially among young men, of having no standards and not standing up for anything, really. Or if you do, it's, I'll stand up for it behind you. Or I'll do it in private, but I'm not going to voice it in public. Now, I'm not talking politics here. I'm talking about standing up for basic moral truths, for instance. Now, there's a lot of ways you can go with this, but what I specifically mean is have some principles. Men, grow up and have some principles. For instance, treating women right. That's a principle that you should have. You don't just follow what the culture says and what pornography teaches to just treat women as objects. No. Have some principles. Have some chivalry. Hold the door for them. Be kind to them. Don't slur in front of them. Don't say vulgar things in front of women. Don't take them out on a date and expect to use them for your own lustful desires. Okay,
Sure.
things like that. That is a super countercultural message because, frankly, pornography, as you know, has taught us that women are to be used, not to be loved. And that's a terrible message, but men need to stand up and have some principles in that regard because there's a lot of good women out there, and they desperately want a man like that. They desperately
Totally.
need that. They do. And another aspect of courage I will point out before I go on to the next one is you don't have to go on social media like what you and I do and just rant about something, for instance. You can be courageous in very little examples. And I'm going to give you a perfect example from high school.
Yeah.
So in high school, as I mentioned earlier, I was in student government. So I was the student body president, which is a very popular position. And I got to talk to a lot of people. I'm a very sociable guy. I like to talk
Sure.
to a lot of freshmen, sophomores, and just walk around the school. And one of the things that I would constantly be asked by underclassmen was, Tori, why are you always smiling all the time? Why are you so happy? And my answer almost always was something to the effect of, the Lord's been good to me, or I'm very thankful. God has been good. Something like that.
Sure.
I say that to say I didn't go into a rant about Christianity, or I didn't just lecture them on I didn't quote Bible verses.
Nice.
I was courageous in the sense that I stood up for what I believed in. I I spoke my principles of God is with me. I'm a Christian, but I did it in a very small, seemingly insignificant, but I would say significant way, because it planted a seed.
Sure.
So that's a perfect example of, you can be courageous. You don't have to be outgoing and be a public speaker or something. You can just, even something as little as that, or just a small act of kindness, be courageous in your principles.